Hello, hello, hello. It is the DE Diva, aka the Delaware blogger, coming to you live again for another episode of Podcasting Your Purpose. And today's topic is Podcasting Best Practices Part 2. That's right. Yesterday, we talked about Podcasting Best Practices Part 1. We talked about choosing a topic that you should be very passionate about because you're going to be talking about this topic for days and weeks and hopefully years to come. Speaking of years to come, I just realized that I've been on on YouTube for 13 years. But not consistently. I don't know why, because I've been consistent. This is actually episode 55, double nickels, that I started podcasting Your Purpose episodes Monday through Friday. So I've been really consistent. But when I went back and looked at my profile and realized that I had joined YouTube on September 14th, 2007, it almost blew my mind. Now, if you're following me, you've probably seen the transition because there was some stuff out there that's crazy. I did brunch with Blake. I did product reviews. I did unboxings. I did teaching courses. I've done so much on YouTube, and I will never, ever, ever, never get rid of any episode that I did on YouTube because it is my brand. It's so funny because I keep saying YouTube, Del Blogger should be the Del Blogger or the Delaware Blogger on YouTube. So I need to change my name from Antoinette from AM Blake 01 to Antoinette Blake to just the Delaware Blogger, right? Because that's me. So make sure that especially if you are a new subscriber, you thumbs up these videos and you share it with your circle of family and friends. And if you did miss yesterday's episode of Podcasting Best Practices Part 1, check it out. Again, we talked about choosing your topic. We talked about recording episodes, at least having 3 to 5 in the bucket. How are you going to promote your podcast? That's the big thing. Website or blog for your podcast and creating your content ahead of time. Now, again, I've been doing this for 13 years. I can think about what I want to do the next day. Same was happening with my blog, delblogger.com. But that's not always the case when you're a new podcaster. And because podcasting is becoming so prevalent and so popular among everyone from Gen, ABC up to boomers and beyond, this is a great way in which to promote yourself, your brand, your product, and the big money, like I said, big money is coming to podcasting. NPR, iHeartRadio, Google, Spotify, which purchased Anchor. Jeff Rogan, is it Rogan? Yeah, Joe Rogan is here. The Obamas are going to be here. Oprah is on a podcast. Vice President Biden. Everybody has a podcast. So you need to have a podcast as well. So if you're interested and you haven't started, but you want to start, you need to hook me up. You need to not hook me up. You need to check me out. Send an email to info@ablakeenterprises.com to schedule your complimentary 30-minute discovery call so I can talk to you, find out what your topic of interest is, what you want to talk about, who you want to connect with. There's just so much going into the pre-planning, the pre-launch of a podcast, but you don't want to wait because this is a great time in which to do so. So hit me up on info@ablakeenterprises.com if you're interested in learning more about starting a podcast or even a blog, because I do that as well. Speaking of which, my basic blogging tips for beginners, this book, right? It's still available. If you want an autographed copy, send me an email, $9.99. I will autograph it and ship it out to you, free shipping. But if you want to pay for shipping, and who doesn't, my Podcasting Your Purpose workbook is available on Amazon.com, $15.99. And this is a great blueprint to get you started because, again, what is a podcast? I talk about that. Why start a podcast? You have a voice, you have a vision, you have a mission. You can literally change someone's life. That's why you need to do it. The power of podcasting. You can now share with others. You can connect with others. You can educate others. You can inspire others. You can entertain others. This is a great platform in which to do all of those. planning a podcast. That's the important thing. As an educator, as a mother, I make sure that I create a schedule. And again, this workbook has the schedule there. You can list out your episodes, your guests. You know, if you want to do guests, you want to put down who you want as your most prized guest. And that's one of the things we're going to talk about today on one of the best practices when it comes to inviting guests onto your show. Your topic, you want to you want to write out your topics. Your pre-record date. I don't know about you, but again, I like to do things prior to actually having it done. Today, my episode on Blog Your Way to a Business Profit is entitled Driving Traffic to Your Blog Using Instagram. I had that pre-printed. I did the pre-record last Sunday for it to drop this Wednesday. So I'm working with Elite Conversations, real life radio and podcast, and they do all the back end there, the commercials. I love hosting with them, but I also do my Anchor FM podcast. I pre-record them on Thursday or Fridays for them to go live on Saturday morning. So that's how I work. So again, you want to put down the days that you pre-record, and you want to put down the days that you actually publish it. Why? Because you're going to promote that not only on the day that you do it, but it's never one and done. You want to promote it long term. Also, artwork. Have you created artwork? Are you creating different artwork? Or are you using the same cover artwork? And how are you creating your artwork if you're doing it yourself? Perhaps with Canva. Maybe you're having it with someone else on Fiverr or Upwork. It all depends, but make sure that you check off that you've created that artwork. Your script. I don't know about you, but sometimes I prefer to read a script. You may just want to wing it. Again, it's up to you. So again, this is a great companion. This is a great blueprint, $15.99. Go to Amazon.com, Podcasting Your Purpose. We talk about that. Promotion and pointers. Podcasting like a pro. Are you going to use your laptop, your smartphone? Perhaps you're going to use a microphone. We have condenser mics like this one and the Yeti mic. We also have other mics that are out there. And don't, break the bank. I don't care what anyone says. Don't break the bank when you're first starting out with your podcasting journey, because you want to make sure that you're something that you want to do long term. And no one can tell you that. I can tell you, I'm going to tell you anyway, that you want to start a podcast, but you may not want it. You may not like it. You may not enjoy it. You might prefer to come over here on YouTube instead, or write a blog, or just be on social media, on the gram, whatever the case may be. So don't spend a whole lot of money initially. So talk about that. Podcasting for profit. Are you going to monetize? Are you looking for sponsorships? Perhaps you're going to be selling your own product and or service. Are you an affiliate for something? Do you sell for Melaleuca? Do you sell for Paparazzi, Avon, Mary Kay, Jewelry, whatever the case may be? Me, I sell my books. That's right. My basic blogging tips for beginners is my book that's available for $9.99. So I promote that, as well as my Podcasting Your Purpose workbook on Amazon.com. And soon I might even have some mugs to sell, or t-shirts like this t-shirt. Check it out. Ask me about my podcast. Can you see that? Let me move that out the way. Ask me about my podcast. Now, maybe I wanted to have a Delaware blogger podcast like I have on my mugs. Today, I didn't bring a mug. I have my Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated cup. And it's late because, usually I'm here in the morning with my coffee, but I've already had my coffee. I had my lunch, but today is my mug. So I may be creating mugs that I want to promote. So again, that's another way to add some income to my podcast. And last but not least, your hosting plans. Who are you going to be hosting your podcast with? Is it going to be with Elite Conversations? Is it going to be with Podbean? Is it going to be with Anchor, Spotify, whomever the case may be? You're going to determine who you want to work with. And again, if you want to work with any of those hosting plans, that's cool. But if you want to build the foundation, if you want to learn how to set everything up, how to get started, how to plan it out, let me know so that I can assist you. I have the 60-minute coaching session for $77. And I also have a 90-minute coaching session for $97 for podcasting. So if you're interested in that, send an email so we can get you scheduled to take care of that, to get you started. Summer is right around the corner. It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful summer, and you should be, helping people, entertain people, whatever the case may be. So hit me up. If you're interested in any of my offerings, head over to ablakenterprises.com so that you can see what I do. I'm a social media marketing and consultant that I work with entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, small business owners to get them not only right and tight on social media platforms, but to engage with their target market audience in what I call an H to H manner, heart to heart, because people do not go to social media to be sold to. They go to socialize. There's nothing that you can create faster, bigger, cheaper. It doesn't matter. It can be done elsewhere. So you want to be connected with your audience. You want to have an intimate relationship with your readers, with your listeners. And that is what a podcast does. So if you're ready to start that podcast, you want a blueprint, you need helping, you need coaching. That's what I'm here for. Send me an email. Also, check out my podcast, Blog Your Way to a Business Profit. That's every Wednesday at 1. Use the tiny URL blog to profit. That's right there. So you can check that out every Wednesday. And then every Saturday is a new episode on Anchor FM. Delaware Blogger is my URL. If you want to find and follow me on all my other social media platforms, I'm on the Linktree ID at Del Blogger. So let's get with today's topic. Podcasting best practices, part 2. Okay. Interviewing. If you're going to be interviewing guests, you want to make sure that their guest fits your niche. It may be whatever your topic is, you want to make sure that your guest, the person that you're interviewing, is going to be bringing value to your show, value to your listeners, because that's what they're coming to you for. Don't pimp out your podcast. Ooh, that's a good title. Let me write that down. Don't pimp your podcast. Because I did talk about don't pimp your blog. Don't pimp your podcast. Don't pimp your podcast just because you can get anybody on there. Get someone on there. Only choose the people that are going to bring value to you, your show, and your listeners. I know you want to get the big top names, but that may not happen. So if you're going to go with the people that you can get, you send a pitch letter or whatever the case may be, make sure that they are of value and they can bring good quality content to your show. Have listened to them. Yes, if they've been on other podcasts, you can Google them. You can check them out. If they've done other speaking engagements, make sure you've checked them out. Research them. The last thing you want to do is to bring an interview or a guest on your show, and they are not what you want. It's not what your listeners want. And if you're pre-recording it, then you don't ever put that show out, which happened to me. Last summer, some guy, I forgot his name, I'm going to look it up. He asked me to be a guest on his show. He sent the script. We talked about everything. We had the interview, and I've never heard that podcast at all. So I guess I didn't fit his niche, and that's fine. I don't fit everyone's niche, and your guests are not going to fit everyone's niche. So one of the number thing you want to make sure is that your guest fits your niche and is good for your brand, for your listeners. Okay, so that's number 1. Practice your interview skills. Speaking of interviewing, it's not as easy as you think. You've heard those awkward interviews on other shows. I know you have. You've even seen them on late night television or television shows where the guest has no idea what he or she is going to say. The host has no idea what he or she is going to say. So make sure, again, when you're writing out your script, and I do this all the time. I used to when I had guests on, I would send them a guest release. So one, they would sign off saying that they were giving me permission to use their likeness because I asked for their headshot, and also the show in future promotions. So whether or not I used it today, tomorrow, next year, I have permission to do that. So within that guest release form, I also had questions and answers, and even something as simple as, how do you want to be addressed? Remember we talked about that. I'm Antoinette. My name is Antoinette. But if I'm on your show, you can call me Tony. So let people know, how do you want to be addressed? Do you want to be addressed as Antoinette? you want to be addressed as Tony? Do you want to be addressed as a Delaware blogger? Do you want to be addressed as Mrs. Blake? Whatever the case may be, those are the things that you should give to your guests because you want it to flow. Again, this is your brand. You want it to be good. You want people to stick with the show. And if it's uneasy, artificial, awkward, people are going to tune out because, you only get one time to make a first impression. And when they got these earbuds in their ear and they're having that intimate relationship with you, if they hear all this hem and the horn and stopping and, it just turns people off and they'll go to someplace else. So practice your skills. Make sure that your guest has the script. Make sure that you're comfortable in reading, and don't be afraid to go off script, but do it seamlessly. Seamless. Yeah, do it seamless. Why? Because even though you ask a question, your guest may respond with something totally different, off in left field in a different tangent. You're going to have to ring them back in, or perhaps expand on that. So don't feel like you can't, be going out of the gate with one topic and end up going around the mulberry bush and coming someplace else. You're going to have to be able to do that so that it's not so awkward for yourself or for your guests. And again, there may be time. And why do I keep saying again? There will be times. That's one word I keep saying. There will be times that you will go off on another lane. So be able to pivot and then bring everything back. Okay. So that's another best practice. Here again, I'm going to say again, focus on your community. This is your show. This is your community. This is your vision, your voice, your mission. What is it that you want to share with your community? And if they have something to say, let them say it. Give them an opportunity to leave feedback. Ask them to review a certain episode. Send out a poll, a question. What is it that they want to hear from you, from your guest, based on your topic? Listen to your community. You don't want to be, talking about something and then your people are not interested in that. So make sure you've got to stay focused, protect your community, build your community, and share your community. So again, your content should be of your community, for your community, and about your community. And don't be afraid to offend, because people have been offensive forever. Stick to your guns. If you're a Christian, you can talk about Christian values. That's you. Do you, boo-boo. Number 4. Stop waiting and start producing. You're not going to be perfect. Start. You have to start someplace. You may not like your voice. You may not like your setup, your lights. You don't have to worry about your lights because you're doing the audio. You just want to get started. Again, I've been on YouTube since 2007. There is still a lot I need to learn, but I'm just doing me. I'm just having fun. This is me. This is my brand. So do you just get started? Don't compare yourself to anyone else. Yes, you want to learn. You want to pick up some tips and some tricks, but you want to do you, boo-boo. And last but not least, I don't care if it's podcasting, blogging, vlogging, snapping, TikToking, have fun. Just have fun with it. Have fun with your show. Don't make it a chore. You're going to evolve. It's going to start out one way and end up another. But as long as you're having a good time, you're sharing fun and good content with your listeners, you'll be A-okay. So get started. Just have fun. Do you. Don't do anybody else, and don't pimp your podcast. Do you. Again, what is it that you want your listeners to hear? And if you are interested in learning more about podcasting or blogging, please send an email to info@ablakeenterprises.com to schedule your 30-minute complimentary discovery call. And if you'd like to sign up for the 60-minute coaching session, that's available for $77. And the 90-minute coaching session is available for $97. But guess what? I have a lot of other packages available for blogging and podcasting. So send me an email. Let's get you started today. Find and follow me on all my social media platforms using the Dell Blogger Linktree ID. Again, today is Blog Your Way to a Business Profit on Elite Conversations, Life Talk Radio, which is my hosting platform. Today's podcast episode is driving traffic to your blog with a with Instagram. So check that out. Today on Dell Blogger is episode 8 of Blog Your Way to a Business Profit, driving traffic to your blog with Facebook. So check that out on dellblogger.com. I'll be back tomorrow, and tomorrow I'm going to talk about your script. Speaking of, I'm going to talk about a sample script I have here, and I can send this to you as well. So I've got a sample script that's going to help you when you are interviewing guests. And then on Friday, we're going to talk about the podcast launch checklist. And I've got this printable because that's going to be available as a freebie on Friday. So this is what we're going to talk about on Friday. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about scripting and interviewing. And you know what? If you have any questions, please leave a comment below. But in the meantime, in between time, thumbs up this video, share it with your circle of family and friends. And until the next time, stay smart, stay safe, and stay social, still from a distance, because I will see you in cyberspace. See ya. It's the DE Diva with my Sigma Gamma Rho cup. And if you have a cup you want me to share, let me know. Have a beautifully blessed day. Bye-bye.